If everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. Quality means doing it right when no one is looking. My best friend is the one who brings out the best in me. One of the greatest discoveries a man makes, one of his great surprises, is to find he can do what he was afraid he couldn't do. A business that makes nothing but money is a poor business. Don't find fault, find a remedy. Any color, so long as it's black. Capital punishment is as fundamentally wrong as a cure for crime as charity is wrong as a cure for poverty. There are no big problems, there are just a lot of little problems. Most people spend more time and energy going around problems than in trying to solve them. There is joy in work. There is no happiness except in the realization that we have accomplished something. I am looking for a lot of men who have an infinite capacity to not know what can't be done. A business absolutely devoted to service will have only one worry about profits. They will be embarrassingly large. There is no man living that cannot do more than he thinks he can. The highest use of capital is not to make more money, but to make money do more for the betterment of life. Time and money spent in helping men to do more for themselves is far better than mere giving. Money is like an arm or leg, use it or lose it. Exercise is bunk. If you are healthy, you don't need it. If you are sick, you should not take it. Whatever you have, you must either use or lose. History is more or less bunk. Speculation is only a word covering the making of money out of the manipulation of prices, instead of supplying goods and services. I cannot discover that anyone knows enough to say definitely what is and what is not possible. I do not believe a man can ever leave his business. He ought to think of it by day and dream of it by night. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. If you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. You can't build a reputation on what you are going to do. Thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably the reason why so few engage in it. Whether you believe you can do a thing or not, you are right. Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs. Whether you think that you can, or that you can, you are usually right. It is not the employer who pays the wages. Employers only handle the money. It is the customer who pays the wages. Before everything else, getting ready is the secret of success. Even a mistake may turn out to be the one thing necessary to a worthwhile achievement. It has been my observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste. The competitor to be feared is one who never bothers about you at all, but goes on making his own business better all the time. Wealth, like happiness, is never attained when sought after directly. It comes as a byproduct of providing a useful service. A market is never saturated with a good product, but it is very quickly saturated with a bad one. As we advance in life, we learn the limits of our abilities. We don't want tradition. We want to live in the present, and the only history that is worth a tinker's damn is the history we make today. You can't learn in school what the world is going to do next year. The only real security that a man can have in this world is a reserve of knowledge. experience and ability. Business is never so healthy as when, like a chicken, it must do a certain amount of scratching around for what it gets. Competition is the keen cutting edge of business, always shaving away at costs. A bore is a person who opens his mouth and puts his feet in it. What's right about America is that although we have a mess of problems, we have great capacity, intellect and resources to do something about them. An idealist is a person who helps other people to be prosperous,